My name is Ruckus. Thanks for joining me. Please like, subscribe, and share. 10-8. Yo, yo, yo. What's going on, everybody? It's been a minute. It's been a hot minute. I've been busy. Let me see if we can get some. There we go. 63 clocks. How are you? Julian friend, hello. Just gonna say hello to some people, then we'll get started. Nana73, how are you? Blue-eyed trucker. What's going on, Blake? Delphi Dummies. One of my favorite people that makes fun of me. Keep it coming. Hopefully I'll give you some material tonight. She Warrior, how are you? Yvonne, Darwin, hello. Olivia 2, what's going on? I haven't been talking about this case much lately. Jill Moser, how are you? Now, Jill, I see you in other channels and other chats saying hello to me. And I always, a big hello to you. Okay, if I don't get a chance to catch you and say hello, I'm sorry. Pitbull Mom, happy Friday, Ruckus and chat. Yes, it's been a good Friday. Spent the day with my wife today. It was awesome. Daily Survivor. Question, if RA takes a plea deal, will he confess in open court? Whether he allocutes or not remains to be seen. That remains to be seen. But let me move this over a little bit, because I always have everything all screwed up. Coca Mage, what's going on? Hi, Ruckus in chat. Yvonne, Night Shadow. Wow, Night Shadow, you've been around for a long time. And I appreciate it. I thank you all for hanging out. Tonight I'm going to talk a little bit about what things that I know about. Now, all this litigation stuff, the legal stuff, I have no idea, to be honest with you. I've been on the preparation, direct, cross-examination, and redirect side, but I've never been into the filing stuff. But we'll get to some facts and my opinions about this case, which you are all entitled to my opinion. I would have loved to have half of you working with me, because you crack me up and you have common sense. Miranda Lee, how are you, dear? Things aren't looking too good for Rick, Audrey. I haven't thought so for a while. But again, and just to clear things up, I am not pro prosecution. I'm pro law enforcement. Huge erection. Been a while. Hey, Ruckus, how are you, brother? Mike Essery, how are you, sir? It's been a minute. It's been a hot minute. I don't come on much. I've been working on cases, and when I say working, there's not much work involved. It's phone calls, it's talking to people, it's researching things. The same things attorneys do. It's not working. I don't get $200 an hour, though. That's for sure. Let me see who else we got. Cindy. Hey, peeps. Cindy, what's going on? Shadowbox. I hope you still have my soap waiting for me. Shadowbox makes her own soap. Big Fish. What's shaking bacon? Miranda, we've got her. Lady Monette. Miranda, it's good to see you, too, by the way. Tattoo You. Hey, Ruckus. TLS. My wife and I went out today. We had some things to do, and we stopped by a waterside establishment to eat, and we met some folks, and they're going to jump in here. Bartenders and patrons both. Got to talk to them about this case, and what's going on? Olivia, what's shaking? Diddums, how are you? Kiwi Bridget, upside down, what's going on? Beth, how are you? Another day in paradise. I hear you, Blake. Tom, hello from Dee Dee. Hello to Tom and Dee Dee. Brandon, Baragri. Good to see you. Anybody that hasn't watched his channel, it's fantastic. I love everything that he does. He goes live and just talks. Just a normal guy. Daily Survivor, DP. You've been wondering where I've been. I've been all over the country with Mr. Steve, and I've been working cases. And again, when I say working cases, I've been making phone calls, making appointments, searching out things online. I don't consider that work. I don't get paid for it. I don't get paid for it. I do the same thing that these defense attorneys do, but they get $200 an hour or whatever it is. Soulless Chef Steph, how are you, dear? It's always good to see you. Lisa, hello. Bossy, Baby Cakes, what's going on? K-Babe? Tululu Process Gang Bishes. Whoever that is, you change your name every couple days, and I love it. Brett Decker, how are you? Tom, I miss you guys as well, but I don't want to tease you. You know, I'm working on things that I can't really talk about, you know, until we get something solid, or until I hate to sound like a jerk, but until I can use information from people on the internet, I can't really talk about it. Ziggy, how are you? 63 clocks is everywhere. Everywhere. Mustang 1965, what's going on? But I spent the afternoon with my wife today. Oh, listen, like I told you, I've had two people that have followed me from Jump Street that I'm absolutely positive about, because I get 2 thumbs down every live, and I just got my first one. So thank you, whoever you are. Night Shadow, thank you so much. Let's talk about Richard Allen, shall we? There's my second one. Okay, so there we go. I don't have to worry about trolls in my chat ever. Let's address that first of all. My mods are thebomb.com. They have common sense. They realize what people are doing or trying to do. This isn't about Ruckus. It's not about me. I'm a name. I'm a person. It's about bringing awareness to this case. Tom, I'll get to that. I will get to that. Oh, I've got 3 thumbs down. Somebody's making sock accounts. James, what's going on, my brother? Scarlet Letter, I'm glad you caught alive. I'm glad you caught alive. But there hasn't been much going on in this case, and there still isn't on the prosecution side. They still have all the same information they've had. And let me get through a few more of these, see if anybody else is coming in. And then I'll get down to Bidnick. I went from 3 thumbs down to 2, back to 3. Thanks, Tom. You're the bomb, too. And Jamie, you're awesome. You stick to your guns. You always have. Always will. Boston Christian, you've been around forever. I appreciate your support. I'm not going to talk about any other creators. I'm not going to mention any names because it doesn't matter to me. And it shouldn't. If you think about it, it shouldn't. If other creators mention names and point fingers and stuff like that, that should tell you that that's their gig. That's what they want to do. I don't mention them. I don't point fingers. Their opinions mean the same to me as everybody else's. You know, what's up, Brad? Any of you who haven't seen Outside the Grid, Brad's videos, he's awesome. But yes, Shadowbox, I want to get that soap. Please email me and I will send you the money for it. Anything new with Evansdale? Is LE close in your opinion? Mike, yes and no. No, LE's not any closer, but I'm about to give them a hand, so to speak. Going crazy, how are you? All right, let me see if there's anybody new. Kimosabi, how are you, sir? Don Spain, what's going on? Teresa the Troll, how are you? And I do things a little different. You know, I like to say hi to people and then get rolling. Hi, Melissa. Wildcard, how are you? Other people like to get rolling, then catch up with chat, but it's hard enough. And anybody that's a creator knows that it's hard to keep up. Hey, Alley Cat. What's not hard to keep up is the trolls. I have great mods. I don't even get to see them. Hey, Ben, how are you? I don't even get a chance to see their comments. It's like boom, bang, they're gone. You know. Now Blake, Blue-Eyed Trucker, he's setting up a live where criminality, Teresa and I can get together and talk. So that should be interesting. Should be really interesting. Lady Monette, Beth Gonzalez. Good Lord. Karen G. I apologize if I'm missing anybody. But let me get right to it. I'm just going to bump ahead. And if I miss you and I don't say hello to you, I will. Right at the end here, Captain Howdy, how are you, brother? I love your videos. You do some great work. Great work. Crime Jester, how are you? Okay, let's talk about Rick Allen. Okay, let's talk about this case. The last 3 days, a lot of information has come out. Okay, but the state has not showed their hand. They're not showing how they're going to present this case. They're given tidbits of information, and I think that anybody that was there, and listen, before we go a step further, I want to applaud everybody that went there and sat there all day long for 3 days. Aspen was there, Yellow Jacket was there, Jinx was there, Rescue All the Dogs. Frank Meister went there for a few days. The people that went there are amazing. Turbo, it's amazing. Bob Mata, thank you so much for being boots on the ground. Now we all know and we all understand by now that notes that people took from either pro defense or pro prosecution, their opinions are different. They listen to the same exact words, but they have a different opinion of what they mean. So, hey, Stephanie. So you have to take that with a grain of salt, okay? So the notes themselves, what actually happened, eventually we'll get transcripts. But people that were there that could feel the tension in the courtroom and that could see what was going on know maybe they can't explain it, through notes and bullet points and all that, but they got a feeling of what's going on. With this litigious stuff, with the legal stuff, I'm less than stupid. I'm useless. I'm as useless as a pickpocket in a nudist camp when it comes to litigious stuff. But if you were there, you could feel the tension in the courtroom, both for the prosecution and the defense. So do I think the defense is doing a bad job? No. I think they're doing a great job. They're doing everything they can. They have the worst client they probably ever had. He's done everything but provide them with a video of what happened. So he, in my opinion, just off the jump, right up front, my opinion, he needs to change his plea and be done with it. Now, why do I say that? Not because I've been saying that he's going to plead out for all this time, but he can save the families of the victims the grief of having to listen to exactly what happened. But not only that, if he's being selfish, okay, if he pleads out now, if he pleads guilty, none of the inmates where he's going to be housed at know exactly what happened. He can tell whatever lie he wants, and we all know, we've known for a few years since all of this bullshit started, that he has grounds for an appeal. So until that happens, nobody's going to know what exactly happened. If he pled guilty tomorrow and doesn't have to allocute, which happens all the time, he can go to prison and they won't know what happened to him. He doesn't have to go into protective custody. At this point, the judge has taken away the safekeeping order, okay? And now he's going to Cass County Jail instead of a prison. He falls in the same category as a death row inmate right now. He's not in that prison to be punished. He's in there to be warehoused until he can be tried, just like a death row inmate. Mayo Monkey. Thanks, Mayo. What's up, brother? Thank you so much. You're the bomb.com. I appreciate everything you do. And you know what I love is that people hate when I say the bomb.com. So I'm going to say it more. But he'd be in warehouse until he can be tried. Just like death row inmates. They're warehouse until they can be executed. So I've said this from Jump Street. Listen, I don't care where he's at. I don't care where he's at. All you bleeding hearts, take him home. Give him a foot rub. Milk bath. Put a mint on his pillow. I don't give a fuck. Make sure that he's healthy and gets the trial on time. That's all I'm worried about. I don't give a fuck about where he's housed at. He's going from an 8x6 cement block cell with a stainless steel sink / drinking fountain / toilet unit and a steel door with a meal flap and a slit in the window and a slit window to outside to an 8x6 concrete block. Same thing. He's going to be in the same situation in Cass County. He's just closer to his defense team, which I'm happy about. I don't care. I don't care. Put him in Baldwin's house. I don't give a fuck. Let him stay in their office if that makes it better for them. It does not mean that he did not confess. It does not mean that they don't have evidence against him. Guess what, folks? They arrested him and put him in this safekeeping order, in confinement, in this prison before all of these confessions. Law enforcement is positive that they got the right guy, and I agree with them. And just to get the nomenclature correct, okay? Because everybody's like pro prosecution, pro defense, pro state, pro constitution, yada, yada, yada. I'm not any of those. I'm pro law enforcement. My brothers and sisters in law enforcement did their job and turned it over to the state's attorney. Not just one, a few state's attorneys have looked at it and said, yes, they would take this case. You take Richard Allen out of the equation, take him out. He was never arrested. He was never a suspect. And put that same evidence for this Odinist shit and give it to 4 or 5 different prosecutors, and they will not accept the case because the Odinist did not do it. Richard Allen did do it. And that's where we're at with that. You can't tell me that if you take, whether you are, and listen, everybody that claims that they are pro-Constitution, okay, go outside and play hide and go fuck yourself. Because now that Richard Allen is moved from the state to Cass County, are you still going to pursue that state correctional facility for the way they're treating the other inmates on that cell block? No, you're not. No, you're not. You are pro Richard Allen. You're not pro Constitution. You're not pro defense. You're pro Richard Allen. And if you say he's innocent, put somebody else there. Do me a favor. Do us all a favor. Put somebody else there. Circumstantial evidence is not going to fly. And we have seen over the past few days, and I have backed out of this, A, because I'm busy. You know, I'm working with other cases, and B, because I really don't give a shit what anybody thinks outside of law enforcement. And if they don't say it, if law enforcement does not put the information out, to me, it's not legit. And they're not going to put information out. Hey, Low Pony. Now, Richard Allen's getting a little taste right now of what's going to happen. Okay. Now, I wonder, is he going to testify in his own behalf? What do you guys think? What do you guys think? Is he going to testify in his own behalf? Fuck no, he's not going to testify in his own behalf because he can't. He cannot. He has no alibi. You know why? Because he did it. He did this. The whole thing with the box blade, who gives a fuck about a box blade? Who cares? It's just like when he first got arrested. People were losing their fucking mind about how tall he was. Took pictures of himself on the bridge with a scale and all this and that. Who gives a fuck? That's him. Bridge guy is Richard Allen. It's not Holder. Holder is not bridge guy. Now, could Holder punch in work, punch out for lunch, punch back in, punch out at the end of the day, speed to the bridge and commit this crime and all that? Maybe, not very probable, but could he have? Maybe. But is he bridge guy? No. No. You know who is bridge guy? Richard Allen. On video. On video. So we're learning things about what law enforcement has. Okay? Everybody's been calling McClellan an idiot, and he's a moron, and slick Nick and all that bullshit. Pissed me off. What's up, Eric? Pisses me off. Okay? 63 clocks. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. You're the bomb.com. Fire and Ice. What's up, Tommy? But you give me any evidence. Take Richard Allen out of the picture. Right? Now, the defense team is saying that a third party did it. Not only a third party, not only somebody else, but these particular people. Put them on the crime scene. Put any evidence of them on the crime scene. Hey, She-Warrior. You can't. You cannot. And let's talk about this. 61 plus confessions. 61 plus. Not to law enforcement. Not to law enforcement. To inmates, staff members, yada, yada, yada. Right? Not to law enforcement. He was not coerced. He was not interrogated for 72 hours by gotchas. By gotchas. You know, defense attorneys like to use that term, gotchas. And by the way, defense attorneys, anybody that's in law school, if you want to be a criminal defense attorney and you have any kind of pride, don't do it. Don't do it, because you're going to lose over 80% of your cases. Now, if you're doing it for money, $200 an hour, billable, then yeah, that's fine. But if you have pride in your life and you want to win, do not be a defense attorney, because they lose over 80% of their cases. And to me, I can't sleep at night. I couldn't do a job where I knew that I was going to lose over 80% of the time. And even civil attorneys, they have about a 50%. So 50-50. Might work, might not. But criminal attorneys, and to listen to them bitch, right? Listen to criminal attorneys bitch about how far the 8 ball they're behind. right? The state has all these assets and they have all this time and they have all this money. Why would you want to be a defense attorney? I'll tell you why. Money, billable hours. That's why. If you know you're going to lose, you know going in that the state has the upper hand when they have the complete burden. They have the burden of proving beyond reasonable doubt. Reasonable is the key word. Doubt that this person did it. It's crazy. Anna, I'm sorry, Anna, I don't want to buzz by that. Has been said all along that no not convicted suspect has ever been held in a prison. That's not true. There's a California case circa 1940. Sheriff feared lynching, suspect held in San Quentin for safekeeping. There's tons of inmates being held in prisons right now as pretrial detainees. They don't fall under the same guidelines as regular inmates. They're there to be warehoused until they can be tried. Now, moving him to Cass County, I don't give a shit about that. I don't give two fucks. Move him into Baldwin's office. I don't care. Get him to trial on time. It doesn't matter. It makes it more convenient. It's across the street from Rosie's office. So now, is that going to change the fact that he found God and he made all these confessions? No, absolutely not. It's not going to change any of that. Miss Haunted Paula, how are you? No, he is not, but it isn't his voice saying down the hill in the audio. You know what? You may be right there. You may be right there, Miss Haunted Paula. Big BGOG, how you doing? But we'll find out. You know who does know for sure? Law enforcement. Law enforcement. Yeah, he did. Tara, he is not going to testify on his own behalf. Now, let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. And I don't want any response. I'm not going to say put a 1 or put a 2 in chat or anything like that. But any of you people, because good people do make mistakes, and good people are wrongfully accused of things and get put in jail and in prison and all that. Solitary confinement. Anybody that has been in solitary confinement, you are not going to tell me that that made you go into psychosis. I've worked in solitary confinement. I've worked death row. I've worked CM, which is close management. Those are assholes. Those are people that want to fight and cause problems. I've worked in ADSEG, administrative segregation, to where the inmates can't be on the compound because they're snitches. Basically, they're not a problem, they're snitches. Boston Christian, thank you so much. I appreciate it. They're snitches, so they're ADSEG. That happens all the time. It does not mean that they're going to psychosis. Anybody that is saying that has never been in that situation on either side of that cell door, because I have. I sat outside Oscar Ray Boland's cell door on overtime one night with his food flap down, staring holes in that son of a bitch, cocksucking serial killer. Thank God they put the fucking electric chair to him. And he put in a grievance saying that he does not want me outside his cell door ever again. You know why? Because fuck him. People that are on segregation, close management, all of that are there for a reason. A reason. They're segregated for whatever reason it is. In Richard Allen's case, he's segregated for his protection. So it's protective custody. You can call it ADSEG all you want, administrative segregation. Call that all you want. But he's segregated so nobody hurts him, so nobody can get to him. Now, other inmates in ADSEG in the same hallway, are they going to yell at him? Are they going to give him shit? Yes, absolutely. Can you do anything against that? Hey, Kishti, what's up, buddy? I hate to say it, but someone must. I believe Richard Allen's wife may have suspected all along it was his voice in the recording. The video should have been enough. Sorry, but the truth hurts, folks. I agree with you 100%. 100%. Any of you men that are in this chat that are married, ask your wife, show them that video, and say, hey, if that was me, would you be able to pick me out? Of course they would. Am I saying that she's involved with this whole thing? No. But should she have been aware of anything? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And now McClellan, with his porn stash, is doing a great job. I haven't seen pictures of him. And to everybody that went to these hearings, I don't care what side you're for. I don't care about any of that. None of it's awkward to me. If I went there, I would have said hello to everybody. But some people see it in different ways. I applaud you. I applaud you for going there and listening and taking notes. I don't care how you perceive it. Bishes, he wouldn't even had to tried one. Richard himself made it much easier for him. He's got to be the worst client these two attorneys have ever had. I mean, he's a moron. He's made it impossible to defend. He's an asshole. He's an asshole. He's an animal. And if he does not plead out, he should plead out to save the families of these victims, okay, some grief, so they don't have to relive that shit. We've already got a little taste of it, right? And that's nothing. That's nothing. Buckle up, Buttercup, Richard. You've got a lot more coming your way. She warrior, how are you? And I appreciate it. Thank you so much. You got a lot more coming your way, Richard, in front of your family and your friends, okay? We already know the who. We already know the how. We don't know you. Listen, you did not carry a gun and a knife every day. You did not. So just the fact that that day you carried a gun and knife shows intent. You intended to hurt somebody or to scare somebody that day. So that's done. Your intent's done. You were going to do something that day. Now, if you targeted somebody, right? If your target was the girls or Betsy Allen or whoever, that implies that you knew that they were going to be there and at what time. So I've heard rumors that there isn't enough to really put it out there. But let me see. I'm going to make sure I don't miss any of these super chats. It's me, $5. Thank you. And I'm sorry if I get behind on chat. I want to make sure that I get everybody that donates. She Warrior, thank you so much. $5 super sticker. You guys are awesome. And, you know, I go on the road a lot. I don't like doing this stuff. I don't like talking about this litigious stuff because, you know, like I said, I'm less than stupid about this shit. I don't understand this whole thing. But I do understand the whole housing situation. I spent some time in the prison system. I spent some time in the correction system. I know how it works. He's going to check in. Are you kidding me? If he pleads guilty tomorrow, he's going to check in the first prison that he gets to. He's going to check into protective custody because he fears for his life. He's going to do it. It's going to happen. It's not like it might happen that way. It's going to happen. And you know what I say? Fuck him. Fuck him. Good. He's worried about what his family thinks. He's found God. You know what? You want to know where Jesus is at? Jesus is in jail and in prison because that's where everybody finds him, in jail and in prison. And it's a bunch of bullshit. And 90% of the people that get involved with religious events in prison and in jails do it so they can get out of their fucking cell for a couple hours a week and go to these religious activities. They will claim a religion to get better food, better diet. It's amazing. I've seen it all. And Anna, the whole box cutter thing, to me, that's right up there with his height. Remember, everybody's arguing about how tall he is. You know, who gives a fuck how tall he is? Who gives a fuck what he used as a weapon? That box cutter is something that he referred to in one of his statements, one of his incriminating statements. He may be lying. We found out that Keegan Klein's statements at Grissom Air Force Base that are on audio and video could be, he lies about everything. He said they threw a phone and a knife in the river in the Wabash. So the Wabash river search was because of Keegan Klein, and it was connected to the Delphi case. Doesn't mean it's true. All the bullshit that Richard Allen's talking doesn't mean that it's true. Now, how does he go from being a CVS supervisor, a Walmart supervisor, to a psychotic maniac? Give me a break. Do you people not see this? And I understand defense attorneys, prior defense attorneys, saying this, okay, because that's how they think. But you have to remember, they get out of bed every morning knowing that 80% of their cases they're going to lose. So you have to remember that. Law enforcement aren't idiots. And I think you guys are finally seeing that. Tony Klein is your BFF. Okay. You guys are seeing that now. You're seeing a little bit of this information trickling out. And I really don't give a fuck about the prosecutor, the judge, or the defense team. Fire all of them. I'm pro law enforcement. Bring all new people in. The evidence will stand by itself. Now, the defense team is doing a great job. I'm not mad at them at all. I would hire them in a heartbeat. They have blurred the lines in ethics and morals to protect their client. Yeah, Coco, that could well be, but you know who knows? Law enforcement. Law enforcement knows. Law enforcement knows all of this, and we're all going to see that. It's all going to come out. If Richard Allen does not plead out, he's in for a world of fucking hurt. This is nothing. This is nothing. You know, I've worked with serial killers, murderers, rapists, all of them. I've seen some of them on the street. Okay. This is not Miss Haunted Power, $20 super chat. Thank you very much. Are the Stevenson, Libby Abbey, and Lyric Elizabeth cases connected? So many rumors. Can you clear this up? Thank you. I can clear this up right now. All three of those cases are independent. None of them are connected at all. 100%. I can tell you that 100%. I'll be able to tell you guys a little bit more about a few of those cases, but 100% they are not. They are not. Now, delay until you pay. Now, he can change his plea. Now, there's a difference between change a plea and a plea deal. Okay? Plea deal, the judge has to agree with it, and the state has to agree with it, and the defense, the client, has to agree with it. But he can change his plea. He can change his plea. And it's as simple as, CO, I need an inmate request. They give him an inmate request form. He fills it out to the judge, the prosecutor, the PD's office, his wife, whoever. I want to change my plea. It'll get back to the state, and he'll be able to change his plea. Period. It's that easy. The biggest lawsuit in the state of Florida, I can only talk about Florida because that's where I worked, was Costello versus the state of Florida about the conditions in the Florida state prison system. It was written on fucking toilet paper. Don't believe me? Look it up. So if he wants to change his plea, he can. His attorneys cannot hold him back from that. They can talk him out of it. They can say, no, you don't want to do that. But he definitely, in his best interest, would be to plead out so that he doesn't have to fucking worry. Ruckus is one of the good ones. Thank you, Brandon. Thank you very much. But I mean, he can represent himself, can he? We're seeing that in other cases. But you take him out, you take Richard Allen out, never ever a suspect, wasn't arrested, and you show me the evidence on the third party, Odinists, whatever names you want to use, and I'm sure that those people are going to sue the fuck out of the defense team. But you tell me any prosecutor that would take that case. They're not. They're not going to take it because there's nothing there. It's all hearsay bullshit. You can't put any of them there. Richard Allen, you can put him there. But you know why? You know why you can put him there? Because he fucking did it. And that's all going to come out. This case has been done since he was arrested. Law enforcement has done their job. My brothers and sisters in law enforcement have turned in all the information. The state attorney has picked it up. The prosecutor has agreed to prosecute the case. I don't care what the defense says. They've tried to do a bond hearing. They've tried everything. They've tried everything in their power. And my hat's off to them. I would hire them in a heartbeat. They've done a great job. They've done everything that they can. He's a horrible client. He did it. He knows they did it. They know he did it. The state knows he did it. And we're all going to know he did it if it ever gets to trial. But if he's smart, he'll plead out and then he can go to state prison and lie to whoever he wants because he won't have to allocute. And he can get his appeal. They're setting everything up for appeal. All this stuff that everybody's getting all bent out of shape about is just to get it in the case, get it in the file, get it in the system. So when he gets an appeal, they can have something to work with. But all that's going to do is keep the cog rolling, keep the money flowing for all these appellate attorneys, because he's going to lose on appeal as well. Guess what? Because he fucking did it. He did it. We just don't know why. And the families want to know why, but I'm sure they'll be very happy with him changing his plea to guilty and getting this over and done with. Okay? And that's what I'm hoping for. I've been saying for years that he's going to plead out or change his plea. It's what he needs to do. He's fucked. He's guilty. He did it. You know? Interaction with the girls prior to this event. I've heard rumors that Libby's sister worked near CVS. Was he watching Libby there? We don't know yet, but you know who does know? Law enforcement. And if nothing else, and I hate this litigious shit, like I said, but the defense has asked for it. They want to know how the state's going to present their case. That's why they wanted the bond hearing to try and get him a bond. Well, now they're seeing, and Nick's been pretty smart about it. Now they're seeing the information that's going to come out, but they really don't know how he's going to present it. The defense brought in a witness, the psychiatrist Walla, and she ended up being more important for the prosecution than she was for them. It happens. It happens. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. He did it. Period. He did it. He's guilty. And he needs to just go ahead and plead out and be done with it. Give these families a break. He can go to state prison and tell whatever fucking lie he wants to tell, so he doesn't get sodomized, and then he can wait for appeal. He can use whatever story he wants. But if it flows the way it does now, and he goes to trial, and all this information comes out, he's screwed. It's all too real now. Now he's sitting in open court, and his family and friends are listening to this information in open court. So it's hitting too close to home for him now. What's up, Chuck? Yes, justice for Abby and Libby. Mr. Steve, what's going on, my friend? But that's my opinion. And I've been of that opinion since Jump Street. Okay, this guy's guilty. He did it. He's Bridge Guy. He's the one in that video. I don't care about the box blade. Was it serrated? Was it not serrated? Is he 5'4"? Is he 5'6"? Who gives a shit? He did it. I don't care about any of that, and it's all going to come out. The state has much more evidence, and the defense team knows that. They're just trying to get whatever they can on record for an appeal. It's not going to help them for his initial trial. If he pleads out and doesn't have to allocute, and I don't mean plead out, they're not going to offer him a deal anymore. Fuck that. That's past. That's done. But he can change his plea. Stevenson case. Eric, I've been in contact with Coy Cox, and no, there's nothing new on that. Nothing that's worth even talking about. But that's where I stand on this case. Anybody that has been in prison or has been in jail and has been in confinement and has been in solitary, I've been there. I've worked all of those. Okay, you don't go from being isolated to being a homicidal maniac or being psychotic or anything like that. Anybody that says that that's indeed the case is full of shit. And most of those are defense attorneys or people who work for the defense that want you to think that it's a huge deal. Anybody that's in here that's ever been in jail or ever been in prison and put in isolation, you know that you did something to deserve being put there. And there's no way around that. There's no way around that. You cannot convince me that you were in confinement for no reason whatsoever. So I challenge anybody that's been in prison or been in jail, or attorneys, defense attorneys, that say, well, unless you've been defending somebody who's been in confinement, you don't know. Well, that's bullshit. I've worked confinement. I've worked it. I've seen these motherfuckers. They get out of confinement, they get a break, and they're assholes on the compound, and they're right back in confinement again. They're just assholes. What's up, Cryptex? So maybe the fact that he killed these two girls got on his conscience, not the fact that he was in confinement. He's going to Cass County right now, and he's going straight into protective custody there. He's going to be in the same situation that he was in the state prison system. So we'll see what happens now. We'll see what happens now. We'll see how many big bad guards are intimidating him and torturing him and all that. You know, go fuck yourself. They deserve to be where they're at. They're in confinement. They're in close management. They're in protective custody. They're in ADSEG for a fucking reason. For a reason. Because they're assholes. And that's right where they need to be. I've seen men and women that are right where they need to be when they're put into that situation because they're a problem on the compound. Now, Richard Allen's case, it's because he's being warehoused. Warehoused. Like death row. Death row inmates are not there to be punished. They're there to be warehoused until we can execute them. He was there to be warehoused until we could prosecute him. And he's lucky that death row hasn't been put on the table yet. I wish they would just put it on the table. You watch how quick that son of a bitch fucking pleads out then. When they put death row on the table, he'll plead out real quick. But that's my spiel for today. I appreciate everybody coming in and listening to me vent out. But I haven't had much to say about this case until now for a long time. I'm working on other cases. I'm trying to bring awareness and closure to other cases for victims' families. I don't give a fuck about Richard Allen. He's done. As much as I hate to agree with anything Ruckus says, I'm about to buy tickets on the I'll take any plea train. Yeah, Steve. I mean, you've seen it. You've seen it, my friend. How many arrests have you made where people make plea deals? where people plead out. It happens a lot. And the general public does not understand the whole system, how it works, all that. But we need to remember there are 2 victims in this case, 2 little girls and their families. Those are the victims, not fucking Richard Allen, the guy that did it, not the defense attorneys, even though they're doing a great job. I don't have anything against them. And not the prosecution. They're just trying to bring justice for what happened. And they have a lot more information than everybody knew they had. And if it goes to trial, which I doubt it will, we'll get to hear some more information about it. And it'll get pretty gross. Sorry, TLS. Yeah, I get a little animated. But that's it for me, guys. Listen, don't take any wooden nickels. Thanks for coming in. I appreciate any and all comments left after the video and replays. I appreciate it. You guys have a great weekend. My name is Ruckus. Thanks for hanging out. Please like, subscribe, and share. I'm 10-7.